is a good way to back up your claim. There are other tests for outliers, and sometimes you just kind of get a feel for whether something's an outlier or not. We will when we do two variable data. We won't actually have a test. Okay, so here we go. We're going to make a box plot. A box plot, and this is called a modified box plot. So first thing I do for my box plot, I'm going to graph these GPAs, and they're going from 0.5 to 4. So I better scale my x-axis first. I will tell you this multiple times, especially when you do it on a test and you give me a lousy looking box plot because you did not scale first. You just put your numbers on, and then then the box plot isn't right because your scale is not set. All right, so I'm going to scale my horizontal axis first, and I'm going to first put my minimum value, which was 0.5. 0.5 is an outlier, and my box plot is going to put stars or some kind of a special symbol, usually sometimes just a dot, for the outliers. What's my next greatest value? Oops, went the wrong way. 2.5. There we go. At the 2.5, I'm going to put a dot for what is my new minimum without the outlier. My first quartile was 2.65, okay. I put a line going straight up and down, not a squiggle like I made. The median was 3.5, thank you. And the third quartile was 3.9. There we go. There's my box. And my highest value was a 4. And there's what are called the whiskers. It's a box and whiskers. Yeah, remember those from elementary school. It's a box and whiskers. Okay. So the outlier is marked with a dot. Yes. So the vertical axis has no definition. The horizontal axis is where you'll put the label of GPAs. Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh. The 2.5, this would be my minimum value, but since my minimum value, the dot, the first dot to the left, would normally be the minimum value of the data set. But since I have an outlier, I don't put that minimum at the outlier. I put it at the next value up. Okay. Yes. Yes. And then I put the Q1. So this first dot is called the minimum. The next line going straight up and down is Q1. Then this line is the median. This third line is the Q3. And this dot is the maximum. Okay? So did we look at the calculator yesterday where we looked at the minimum, maximum, median, all that kind of stuff? Okay. So those refer to these refer to those numbers on the calculator. Okay. Let's see if we can throw these numbers. Can somebody well, we're just gonna throw these numbers in your calculator. Well, I try throwing them in mine. List 1 is fine. Sorry, so let me see if I have them in my calculator. I do not. It was 0.5. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.8, 3, 3.2, 3.5, 3.5, 3.8, 3.9, 3.9, 3.9, and 4. How many of them were there? Oh, there were 13. Okay, I got 13. Yes. Yep. Hmm? Yeah, if you have an outlier. We'll do one without and we'll do one with an outlier here. Okay. So, how do I... Come on. Oh, it is on launch screen. Never mind. How do I find the mean of all this data? Stat. Calc. 1var stats. Okay. Now, if I don't put anything after 1var stats, it thinks I've got data in list 1 that I want to find the statistics for. If you've put your numbers in a different list, then you just have to tell it what list. So if I put it in list 2, I'd hit second 2. If I put it in list 1, I can hit second 1, or I can leave that blank. That is its default is list 1. Okay, there's my 1var stats. Now my mean is 3.15, but we're not interested in the mean. We're interested in the median and the quartile, so you use the arrows to go down. And you can go back up if you need something at the top of that list. And my minimum 0.5, it's got the quartiles and the median just like we calculated, and the maximum value is 4. All right. Now, yes? No, you don't recalculate the quartiles. Yeah. All right, so let's make a box plot on your calculator. So go to Stat Plots. Turn on one of your stat plots and second y equals for your stat plots. Okay. So there are 2 box plots that are listed here on your calculator. The second one you will never use. I'll show you what it looks like. You're not going to use this one. The second one is a box plot that does not show me the outlier. It just shows me the minimum, and the quartiles, and the median, and the maximum. Okay? We never use that one. Okay? So instead, we use the first box plot, and you have to arrow to the right to get to it. Hit enter over the top of the first box plot. And if you do a zoom stat, zoom number 9, you get the box plot that I put on the page before. Okay, lovely. Why what? Helper. 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 You don't have your stat plot turned on, is what I assume. You got 2 stat plots turned on. There's a way to turn off your stat plots. If you go on the y equals page, you'll see what plots are turned on. If you arrow up and then hit enter, you turn that plot off. Or if you want to turn on plot 2, you hit enter, turn it on. It's a quick way of turning your plots on and off. Probably the quickest. Okay. All right. Now we got some other fancy calculations to do, so I need your calculators out. Okay. If the distribution of my data is symmetric, then we're going to use the mean for the center and standard deviation to describe the spread. So first off, I'm going to give you some data, 3, 5, 7, 10, 13, and I don't know if it's symmetric. It's so small. Who knows whether it came from a symmetric distribution or not? So we're going to